What happens when an entitled fan demands money from the most humble man in Hollywood? What starts with a quiet conversation in a public park slowly spirals into an emotional storm no one saw coming, a moment captured in shaky phone footage, dissected frame by frame across the internet. This isn't the Keanu you know from John Wick or The Matrix. This isn't the sharp-suited assassin or the messianic hacker. This is the man who gives up his subway seat without a second thought. The man who mourns quietly, who rides alone, who keeps his soul intact in a world that never stops taking. This is Keanu, the protector of peace, the king of boundaries, and the master of restraint. And when pushed too far, he doesn't shout. He doesn't explode. He replies with just 5 words. Words that shattered the illusion. Words that made fans question how we treat celebrities. Words that redefined what it means to say no. Before we dive in, comment where you're watching from. Whether you're sipping coffee in Seattle, driving through Dallas, or unwinding in Miami, this is one story you won't forget. Because this time, Keanu wasn't acting. And what he said changed everything. The sun dipped low over Griffith Park, painting the Los Angeles sky in warm tones of rose and tangerine. A soft breeze rustled through eucalyptus trees, their fragrance sweet and calming. In the distance, dogs barked faintly. The only other sound was the faint hum of cicadas starting their nightly chorus. Keanu Reeves, now 60, sat quietly on a weathered wooden bench, tucked beneath an old oak tree. He wore a worn gray hoodie, black jeans, and a pair of hiking shoes caked with dried mud. His posture was relaxed but alert. His hands, rough, calloused, honest, rested on his lap, fingers gently twined. Every motion carried the patience of a man who had learned to live in silence. To find peace not in escape, but in presence. To the world, Keanu was a movie star. But here, in the stillness of the fading day, he was just a man. A man who had lost a child. A man who had buried a lover. A man who had quietly rebuilt his soul, brick by brick, away from the noise. His safe space wasn't made of walls or velvet ropes. It was something simpler. A ritual. After long shoots, he came here, alone. He'd walk the same path. Sit on the same bench. Watch the same sun melt behind the same hills. And breathe. Some days, he'd bring his notebook and sketch tiny stick figure stories. Some days, just a thermos of tea. But always, there was peace. This bench, this park, was a pocket of normalcy in a life that had never really been normal. And that day started like any other. Until something strange caught his attention. At first, it was subtle. A flicker in the corner of his eye. A shape, a shadow, too close for comfort. A woman stood there, maybe in her late 20s, just outside the tree's shade. She had a phone in her hand and a certain energy. Not excited. Not nervous. Something else. She didn't smile when she approached. She didn't say hello. Instead, she opened with, "Hey, you're Keanu Reeves, right?" Keanu nodded gently. "Sometimes," he said. She laughed, too loud, too sharp. "That's cute," she replied. "Look, I'm not gonna lie. I need a favor." The air shifted. This wasn't a fan looking for an autograph. This wasn't someone caught off guard by a surprise celebrity encounter. There was no awe in her eyes, only calculation. "I just need $10,000, she said, as casually as someone asking for a glass of water. "Just 10 grand. That's like nothing to you, right?" Keanu blinked once. He had been asked strange things before. People wanted hugs, selfies, scripts read, birthday videos, even marriage proposals. But this was different. The woman noticed his pause. "It's not for drugs or anything, if that's what you're thinking," she added quickly. "It's legit. I just got into a rough spot with rent. My boyfriend bailed. My mom's sick. You'd literally be saving a life." She said it with a practiced tone. The kind that's rehearsed in bathroom mirrors. Keanu didn't speak right away. He just looked at her, really looked. Something about his silence made her squirm. "I mean, come on," she laughed again, trying to soften the moment. "You're rich, man. You're, like, good guy Hollywood. This would be a Keanu thing to do, right? It was then that something inside him shifted. Not rage. Not judgment. But something quieter. A note of disappointment. A trace of sadness. He had spent his life trying to not be a spectacle. He had given away millions quietly, funded cancer research without putting his name on it, helped crew members on set when their cars broke down, handed out coffee to extras during long night shoots. But he never did it for praise. Never for a headline. And now, here was someone trying to trap him in his own kindness. I know this spot's, like, your thing, the woman added, glancing around the park. But I didn't mean to interrupt anything. You were just sitting here anyway. Her words hung heavy. Keanu exhaled slowly. Not loud. Not sharp. Just enough to clear his lungs. That's when a jogger passed by, slowed down, double-took, and recognized him. Hey, Keanu, they waved. Love your stuff, man. Keanu smiled and waved back. The jogger disappeared down the trail. But the woman was still there, staring. She crouched beside the bench now, suddenly changing her tone. I'm not a bad person. You're like, my favorite actor. For real. I just need help. That's all. Her voice turned syrupy. Faux kindness dripping from every syllable. People think I'm crazy for asking you, she said, smiling like a friend. But I told them, you'd understand. You're Keanu. You get it. He didn't reply. She kept going, words flowing faster now. I know celebrities don't usually do this stuff, but I'm not asking for a car or anything. Just a boost. I'll pay you back. I swear. Or not. Whatever. I mean, 10 grand to you is like $5 to anyone else. She laughed again, a sweet venomous sound. They're just numbers, right? That was it. That was the moment. The moment the encounter stopped being awkward and became gaslighting. She wasn't just asking. She was twisting his character. Weaponizing his kindness. Making his refusal, if it came, feel like cruelty. And she knew exactly what she was doing. The manipulation. The faux flattery. The script she'd written in her head where Keanu played the hero and she walked away with a bag full of someone else's effort. But Keanu didn't raise his voice. He didn't call security. He just stood up. And what he said next would break the internet in ways no one expected. 3 days passed. The park remained the same, tranquil, dappled in light, the scent of jasmine still drifting from the garden nearby. But something had changed. Keanu came earlier now. Before the real crowds arrived. His routine hadn't altered, same thermos, same bench, but the calm inside him was guarded now, quieter. The space that once felt sacred now carried attention, like a cracked mirror reflecting only fragments of peace. And then she came back. This time, not alone. 2 young men flanked her, both in sunglasses, holding iced coffees. One had a phone already recording. The other laughed loudly as they approached. There was no hesitation, no shame. Yo, Mr. Matrix, one shouted, chuckling as he zoomed in on Keanu's face. We're back, baby. Time to collect that good karma. The woman smirked, her confidence visibly inflated by the presence of backup. You didn't say no, she said casually. I figured you just needed time to think it over. Now we're giving you the chance to do the right thing. Keanu looked at them. Calm. Composed. He said nothing. You're, like, the nicest guy in Hollywood, the second man chimed in. Would be kinda disappointing to find out you're just another fake nice guy. He stood up and walked away. But this time, they laughed louder. Guess he's shy, one of them called after him. Maybe next time, bro. They left behind empty cups on the bench, straw wrappers fluttering to the ground. It wasn't just an ask anymore. It was provocation. The moment wasn't caught by accident. The woman later posted a clip of the scene on her TikTok. It was carefully edited, cutting out their own taunts and framing Keanu's silence as awkward guilt. The caption read, when a Hollywood millionaire ignores your cry for help #cold Keanu #just 10 grand. Comments poured in. Many praised her boldness. Others criticized her entitlement. But what no one knew, yet, was that someone else had been watching. A regular visitor to the park, a quiet man named Jordan, had been there that day. He'd seen the original encounter too. He posted a thread on X, formerly Twitter. Saw Keanu Reeves get ambushed again at Griffith Park. Same people. Same woman. This time with her friends. Filming him, mocking him. Man didn't say a word. Just left. Graceful as hell. The thread gained slow traction. A few hundred likes. Then thousands. People began to wonder, was there more to this than the video showed? The woman noticed. And instead of backing off, she doubled down. A new TikTok appeared. This time she sat on the same bench, narrating dramatically as sad music played beneath her voice. "I just needed help," she said into the camera. Is that so wrong? Keanu Reeves pretends to be kind, but when someone's desperate, he acts like you don't exist. "I didn't want to post this, but I'm tired of being ignored." Celebrities love to help when cameras are rolling. But in real life? They ghost you. The video gained over 300,000 views within hours. But it had the opposite effect she expected. People started asking questions. Who was she? Why was she filming him multiple times? Why did Keanu walk away, every time, without saying a word? Then came the turning point. 5 days after the second confrontation, Keanu returned to the park before dawn. The morning air was sharp and clean, the sky still ink blue. He wore a dark hoodie and carried a compact bag slung over his shoulder. From that bag, he took out a small wildlife camera, high-resolution, motion-sensitive. He installed it quietly, hidden in the crook of an oak tree, directly across from his usual bench. The next day, he returned and added a second. This one concealed behind a shrub, near the trail entrance. And by the end of the week, there were 3. Silent, camouflaged eyes gathering truth. He didn't want revenge. He wanted clarity. And soon, the footage started collecting. What it showed was sobering. The woman wasn't just bothering Keanu. She was mocking joggers, heckling dog walkers, recording older parkgoers without consent. Her group interrupted yoga sessions, played loud music, and laughed when people asked them to stop. She wasn't a victim. She was performing one. Keanu watched the footage in his modest apartment, surrounded by quiet walls and an old guitar in the corner. His dog, Harley, rested beside him. Outside, the city buzzed. Inside, he was calm. He transferred the clips to a flash drive. Organized them by date. Time-stamped. Labeled. But he still didn't speak. Until the 3rd week, when the woman returned again. This time, she came alone. No camera in her hand. No friends. Just a subtle tension around her mouth and a notebook tucked under her arm. She sat on the bench next to him, uninvited. "I saw what people are saying," she started. "They're calling me names. Harasser. Liar. Gold digger. You could shut it down, you know. Just post something. Say it's not true." Keanu turned to her slowly. She waited. Expected. But he didn't reply. Instead, he opened his thermos and poured himself tea. She continued. "You think you're so above it all, don't you? Just because you don't say anything, doesn't mean you're innocent." Still, silence. Her voice sharpened. "You think this little monk act makes you a hero? Newsflash, silence can be cruel too." Keanu took a sip of tea. She stood up then, angry now. "You know what? I could ruin you if I wanted. You're lucky I'm not posting everything I have." And still, he didn't speak. That night, he acted. He didn't go to the media. He didn't call security. He uploaded the camera footage to a private cloud and sent it to a well-known YouTuber who investigated internet drama and false narratives. He included the dates, times, full context, no edits. He remained anonymous. The YouTuber, who had over 5 million subscribers, reviewed everything. In 3 days, he posted a 20-minute breakdown titled, "The Keanu Harassment Tapes, What Really Happened." The internet exploded. People who'd seen the woman's TikToks now saw the truth. The mocking. The provocation. The full story. Comments flooded in. Keanu was protecting his peace. This is why boundaries matter. That silence was strength. Memes followed. One viral post showed Keanu sipping tea with the caption, "When silence says more than shouting ever could." Another showed his still face with the quote, "You ruined me." Her. No. You did. Him. By now, the woman had deleted most of her videos. She turned off comments. Locked her profile. But it was too late. Public opinion had shifted. And for once, it was grounded in facts, not spectacle. In the park, people began to act differently. They didn't approach Keanu with cameras anymore. They waved. Nodded. Left notes folded on the bench. Some came just to sit nearby and be still. His silence had become a movement. An act of resistance against entitlement. A defense of personal space. And in the background, the phrase began to circulate. His 5-word reply. But no one knew what it was, yet. That moment was coming. Because the final confrontation was near. And when it arrived, so would the words that shattered the illusion forever. The sun was high the next week, casting golden slats through the sycamore branches above the bench. Keanu arrived with something different in his step. It wasn't anger. It was focus. He sat down slowly, laying a folded newspaper beside him. But inside his bag were no books, no notebooks, no thermos of tea. Inside was preparation. A different kind. The kind that doesn't look like revenge, but feels like justice. He had made his choice. No interviews. No headlines. Just a quiet, devastating end to the charade. The night before, Keanu had returned to the park under moonlight. In a black hoodie, under stars, he installed a slim metal sprinkler hose beneath the bench, custom-built. It ran off a small sensor, programmed to detect motion within a 2-foot radius when activated manually through a discrete remote. Just one press. The substance? Non-toxic, but visually impressive. A bright, neon blue dye. It was used in Hollywood stunt work. Harmless, fast-drying, visible for hours. He'd also done one more thing. The YouTuber who had exposed the harassment posted a final video. This one tagged the woman directly. It simply said, "Watch part 3 tomorrow. The truth. All of it." It was time. At exactly 1:37 p.m., the woman arrived. Alone again, but holding her phone tightly. She walked directly toward him, as if this was routine. No pause. No greeting. She plopped down next to him on the bench with a dramatic sigh. "I can't believe you let this happen," she said. Keanu didn't move. "You know I'm getting threats now, right?" she added. "People are calling me a scammer. I can't even go on TikTok without someone calling me names." He glanced at her. "Did you come here to talk?" he asked. She blinked. He had spoken. She hadn't expected that. "I came here because you need to fix this," she snapped. "You started it. With your little silent treatment act." Keanu turned to her. And for the first time in weeks, he looked her fully in the eyes. "No," he said softly. "You started it." She rolled her eyes. "So now you're gonna pretend to be the victim? That's cute. Honestly, I should have just posted the original footage with your face the first time. You're lucky I gave you so much grace." He smiled slightly. "Is that what you call it?" he asked. She leaned in. "You don't get it. People expect you to be kind. You've built your entire image on it. You could have helped me. You could have just said yes. But you wanted a scene. You wanted this drama. You enjoy it." Keanu pressed something in his palm. A silent click. The sensor registered her presence. The hose hissed once, like a whisper. Then, it erupted. The woman screamed. A sudden blast of neon blue dye shot up from beneath the bench, splattering her clothes, face, phone, shoes. The camera in her hand was soaked. The phone screen flickered, then died. The blue was everywhere. She stood up, gasping. What the hell? Keanu remained seated. He pulled out a clean cloth and calmly wiped a dot of dye from his shoe. She was spinning in circles now, dripping blue. Is this a joke? What is this? He stood up, slow and steady. Park-goers were beginning to turn. A child laughed. A jogger paused. Someone pulled out their phone. And then, he said it. The 5 words. Measured. Precise. Cold as moonlight. I am not your story. The woman froze. She blinked once, twice. What did you just say? He repeated it, just once. I am not your story. Then, he walked past her. She followed. You can't do this. You think people will side with you after this? I was soaked. You assaulted me. Keanu paused, just before exiting the trail. There's a camera in the tree, he said without turning around. You've been recorded every time. She paled. You're lying. I'm not. The final nail had been placed. Keanu didn't have to do anything else. The dye would wash off in 24 hours, but the moment wouldn't. It was already spreading. The man with the phone uploaded the incident within the hour. The woman, soaked in blue, screaming. Keanu, walking away like a storm had passed. The caption? The bench. The dye. The end. Hashtag Keanu said no. Within 3 hours, the footage had reached over 2.5 million views. Comments exploded. This is performance art. He turned her manipulation into a punchline. Poetic. Freaking. Justice. And then came the real fallout. The YouTuber dropped the final video that night. It included clips of her earlier harassment. Voice recordings of her mocking Keanu to friends. Screenshots of her messages saying she could milk the nice guy act for a payday. It was damning. Not cruel. Just complete. Her accounts vanished. First TikTok. Then Instagram. Her last post was a screenshot of a private comment that simply read, "He never owed you kindness." But Keanu? He never said another word. He returned to the park the next day like nothing happened. Same hoodie. Same path. Same bench. The dye had faded from the grass. The bench was clean. But people knew. He had not raised his voice. He had not called for attention. He had drawn a boundary. And when it was tested, he responded. With tools. With silence. With 5 words. And now, something had changed. The next week, a group of students visited the park. They sat on the benches across from his. They waved, gently. One of them held up a sign. It read, "Not your story either." Keanu nodded once. A rare, small smile touched his lips. For the first time in weeks, peace returned. True peace. The kind built not on silence, but on strength. Quiet victory. No applause. Just understanding. And the blue? It became a symbol. Fan art appeared online, Keanu seated under a tree, blue droplets raining down like justice. T-shirts were made. Stickers. Posters. A line of merch appeared within days, all donated to mental health and anti-harassment foundations. Keanu approved none of it. He didn't profit. He simply kept walking his trail. And now, the world finally understood. Boundaries are sacred. Silence is a full sentence. And sometimes, dignity looks like 5 words on a windy afternoon. I am not your story. But what about you? Have you ever had to draw a line when someone pushed too far, when silence felt like the only power you had left? Have you ever protected your peace, even when it made you look cold? Because kindness isn't always soft. And sometimes, the strongest thing you can say, is very little at all. Comment your story. Maybe the world needs more people like Keanu. People who know that silence can speak louder than outrage. That boundaries are brave. That peace is worth protecting. And most of all, that you are not someone else's story.